Hey guys, I'm Tim from Anything Scout, and today we're going to be installing a front runner roof rack on this Traveler. Okay, so when you get your front runner roof rack kit from us, this is essentially the same roof rack that a Scout 2 uses. We're just going to be putting it on a Traveler today, so there's a different mounting rail system that we use from a Scout 2 to a Traveler. But I'm going to time-lapse the assembly of this rack really quick just to show you guys. There's instructions that come with it, but the way that I have found to put them together just goes a little faster, a little easier. So watch that time lapse, and a few things to note. I use a 5mm hex head bit. In a ratchet, it just goes a lot faster than the little Allen key that they send in the kit. All right, as you guys saw in the time lapse, I basically just built the outer rails. This is all assembled upside down essentially. So what you're looking at is actually the bottom of the roof rack. I've just found it goes really easy if you just do the outside rails, attach them to one end, and then slide your planks in, fingers tighten every bolt, or start every bolt, and then go back with the ratchet, tighten it. A few tricky points are where these bridges happen in here. There's little spacers that have to go in. If you watch that time lapse, you'll see me slide the nut into one side and then slide the rail together. That way the nut doesn't fall back out and then it's just a pain. Hopefully that helps you guys. The instructions are pretty clear that they come with, but this way of assembly just goes pretty smoothly and fast. I'll walk through how we attach the feet. If you're at this point with a Scout 2, you'll have a different foot kit than what we're going to use on the Traveler. Just kind of follow your instructions again, and that should go pretty simple. All right, when you guys get your kit for your Traveler, it will come with these 4 rails. They're nice aluminum construction. You'll see there's several series of holes. We'll get to that in a minute. Tools you'll need for install will be a ratchet with a 3/8 bit. 3/8 ratcheting wrench is great. Standard wrench is fine too. That's just to bolt the hardware through the top. Nice sharp pencil, an 1/8 inch drill bit for pilot holes, and a 1/4 inch drill bit for the final hole. And a drill and a pretty good tape measure. You're going to want it to be very accurate with your measurements. And the best part is it comes with instructions. And these have plenty of pictures, close-ups, and we'll be kind of walking through the steps that are in these instructions in a video. Sometimes that just helps to explain any questions you guys might have. So another 2 things that you'll need to add to your tools list: some masking tape and a string line. You can use a straight edge as long as it's 72 inches or longer. String line works great. And let's get started. So our first measurement will happen from this front edge back. You want to go 14 1/4 with your tape. And we're going to go 14 1/4. There you go. Do the same measurement on that side. I'm not going to show that, but we'll do that, and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, now that we've got marks on both sides, we'll do our cross measurement as the instructions show. Failed to mention, remove your roof rack first, the factory one. When you're making these 14 1/4 marks, just try and line it up roughly with where the foot of your stock roof rack is. That'll just get you in the ballpark of where we need to make the other measurements from. Okay, for this measurement, you'll take both of your side marks that you made, hold a tape measure, hook it underneath the drip rail on either side, pull it across, keep it nice and tight to the roof, should be 60 3/4 is that measurement at the bottom edge of the other side drip rail. Half of that is 30 3/8. So while holding that tape measure there, I'm going to crawl up here and do a center line. This is very important that you get this straight. So 30 3/8. Just make a line at the back of that. And we'll move to the next step. Okay, with our center line established and the point of reference being that measurement we made from the front edge, you're going to want your roof rack feet to be 46 inches apart. Half of 46 is 23. We have our center line and I'm measuring out 23 inches, putting a mark and putting a mark where that front measurement is. That will be essentially your first pilot hole straight through the top. So I'm going to match that same measurement on that side and we'll go to the back and do a similar thing. Okay, so when you remove your factory roof rack, there'll be obviously 4 holes from that. We used the front of the rear mount as a reference point, and for our next measurement for the back, we're going to measure 1 1/4 inches forward of that hole and make a mark. We'll do the same thing on that side, and we'll then throw a string line up and make sure that we're in line and straight between this rear hole and the front hole. All right, so once you have all 4 corners marked, take your 1/8 inch drill bit, drill an 1/8 inch pilot hole through the top. Make sure you have a sharp drill bit to drill through the top. Okay, now we're... Oh, there it is. Okay. Once you've drilled through your top, go inside and make sure that you're on the inner rib. There's like a indent for a headliner, what looks like a headliner. And what you want to do is you want to be on the lip edge of that towards the outside. So we'll go inside and make sure we're on the right track. And this is the indent that I was talking about, and our hole's right there. So we're in good shape. When we go to 1/4 inch, I will just cheat it in a little bit and then we'll move on to doing a string line. All right, just to walk you guys through, I have put the bolt through our 1/4 inch hole through the inside, put a nut on the bottom of it on both ends. Now we're going to take our string line, line it up with the bolt holes on both of these. And as you can see, we can pivot these however we need to. You'll want them pretty much dead in line to keep everything straight inside along that indent in your headliner. This is also in the instructions. Just kind of follow the pictures along. I'm going to mark out where my other 4 holes need to be. I use all 3 holes that are in the rails on both sides just for stability. I've seen people use just 2 and sometimes the middle gets kind of bowed. So I like putting all 3 in both rails. So we'll do that now. All right, so where we left off, we were straightening the rails front to rear. I went ahead, drilled all those holes. You'll want to put some kind of sealant in. We like using the 3M brand seam sealer. We used white in this case just because it's a white top. Dropped the bolts in, secured them on the inside, and these rails are now ready for the mounting hardware for the roof rack. So I've laid out all the hardware that comes in the kit. These are the feet that we'll be attaching to the rails of the truck. There'll be 2 holes here and a slot on the front. These will face the outside of the truck. To secure them, we'll use these studs. They slide in the rails. You'll need 4 stud per rail. That's 2 feet each rail. And I'll go and show you how to slide those in. And then we also need the nylock nuts. And then when we tighten everything, we'll put the caps over the nuts. These feet will go on your roof rack itself. Same way, mounting with bolts instead of the studs. And we'll walk through that. All right, so I've put on a decorative plastic cap on the front of each of these rails. You don't want to put both caps on. Leave one open just so then you can slide these down in the rail. And there's an upper and a lower channel. Go on the upper channel with these, slide them down. Again, you'll want 4 of them. And that's just for the 2 feet. Then you'll take your bracket, slide that down onto those. And for right now, leave all of this loose. I'm just gonna finger tighten everything. That way these can slide around. When we get the roof rack up in here, you're definitely gonna want some adjustability. So do not tighten these first. And I'll basically just copy this procedure all the way around, do the 8 feet on the truck side, and then we'll move to the roof rack and mounting the feet on that. All right, so I've got all my tabs on here. General rule of thumb with these, it's a lot easier to get them set distance-wise, because when you're lifting a huge roof rack up here, you don't want these to move too much. I have snugged them up a little bit so there's not much flop in them. What we're gonna do now is measure the distance between where the mounting feet on the rack are and set the rails to the same depth. On the rack, it's 24 inches on center, so I'm gonna move my tabs to be right about that. And then at this time, you can snap on the other set of plastic caps, and then we'll go and put the feet on the roof rack. All right, so we're coming over to the roof rack now. This is the rack side mount. These are the bolts that they supply in the kit. So these actually slide into the track. You'll start at the top and just slide them down in, followed by the mount, and grab a couple nylock nuts. Again, leave all of this loose until we get to the truck. Otherwise you're gonna fight it and trying to get it lined up. So you'll want to start on the ends, skip 2 rungs, come down here, put your next mount. And we'll basically repeat that process for the rest of the feet. All right, now that I've got all of my rack side mounts on, just a little tip that I've found very helpful. If you take your masking tape that you had out earlier, just put it across the rack, across the track mount, and when you pick this up, the mount won't slide out and you won't lose your bolt. It's kind of annoying when you're trying to line up 8 of these to have it move around. So I'll just go around, put that on there so it keeps it from sliding down too far. And then we'll grab a couple buddies and put the rack on the truck. So I guess slide back as much as you need to. Well, if you need to. All right, so we got the roof rack up and onto the rails. Everything's pretty well centered. I'm gonna start putting the through bolts into the feet, and those are the Allen head, kind of the button head bolts that come in your kit. Those just go right through the center of the mount. And for the front, you might have to lift it up slightly. The roof kind of curves just a little bit. There are slots that make it easy to do that. So we'll go through and throw the middle mounting bolts in, and then I'll go around and final tighten everything, and that's pretty much it. Okay guys, and that concludes our video on a Traveler roof rack install. All of the parts available that we used today are on our website, anythingscout.com. And like, comment, share. If you have any questions or concerns with this video, or you have any more in-depth questions, let us know. We love to answer them.